Hello, we are live the day after Christmas. This is December 2016, or December 26th, 2017, I should say. This is Thomas Metal, 75 Massachusetts Beer Reviews and Company. Today's topic is English only brewed beers. So no Wales, if you can find a Welsh beer. No Scotland, no Northern Ireland. Hell, if you thought Ireland was a part of this, yeah, you're mistaken. So we have today is Michael Kormaroff has been joining us on these Wednesdays on my channel from Brooklyn, New York, and Jay Theriault, the Louisiana Beer Reviews, who is the founder, if you will, of the Wednesday night beer kind of examinations out there.
Right. Hello, Eric, and hello, Michael.
Today, I found a beer at my local store. It's called Yankee Spirits, and it is English, and somehow I've never heard of it. It is from the Iron Maiden Trooper line, but it's not an English-style beer. It's called Hollowed. It says it is inspired by Belgium, made in England, and according to, this is 6%, according to Beer Advocate, because their website doesn't even tell you, they say it is a Belgian dark ale.
So it's a Belgian-style beer brewed in England.
Yes.
And I've seen it at the stores.
What's the name, Eric?
It is called Hallowed.
Hallowed.
After the song Hallowed Be Thy Name from Iron Maiden.
I've seen that beer, but I never bought it because it was too expensive.
I think it was $3 and change where I got it.
Yeah, they wanted $4.99. I said, no way.
What do you have to share with us, Jay Theriault?
I've got a famous old English ale. Oh, now it's getting lively.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Hello, hello, hello.
You have
Hey, Lance.
not to cramp your style there, Jay, but do you have a English beer you're sharing tonight? And what is your name and YouTube channel, good sir?
I thought that was Grandmaster Flash when he showed up. The way he's dressed.
Do you have an English beer to share, and which one, if so? And what is your name and YouTube channel? Good grief. All right, Jay's got Boddingtons, correct?
You ready for me?
Yes. What do you have, Michael Kormaroff?
Okay, I have Samuel Smith's Original Organic Lager.
Excellent.
Whoa.
And
Whoa.
let's try this again really fast. What do you have, Lance the Lush, to share with us this evening?
Actually, no, I'm sleeping because I totally forgot about this chat today. So I'm just drinking bourbon tonight. But I want to pop my head and say hello.
Hello.
Hey, Larry.
Dog. What bourbon are you drinking?
I'm actually drinking Early Times Night.
Oh, from 1860. Okay. How you love that?
Oh, it is what it is, you know. It's like I didn't want to get like regular like beer, and with this chat, which I totally forgot about. My original plan when it was first talked about a couple of months ago, I was actually gonna get Old Speckled Hen, and I totally forgot.
Oh man, that was Hey Eric, can I open mine first?
Go right ahead.
I got a special edition. Look, I got a can and listen, folks.
Widget.
Oh, it went psh, and there it's gurgling.
Sounds like an Irish beer. Oh, wait a minute. No.
It's got that nitro widget, which some people love and other people hate. They don't like that nitro effect. They started using this in 1991. They were one of the first beer companies to use the nitro widget to give it that cascade effect, you know?
Sure.
And Boddington's is a very old company from, what year is it? 1778. And they've been making what they call English bitters, you know, those types, for over 200 years.
Not really.
And can you hear me all right?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I know my audio is going to go kaplunked in a little bit, but I'm not going to be on long. So the Boddington's company was owned by the Boddington's family for a long time. It was actually a buyout. The Boddingtons bought it out, you see. so they were the original buyout people. Look at that head. And so then they kept it in the family for until around the 1960s, and it got bought out by another company, and then it got eventually bought out by InBev. And what happened was they shut down the brewery in Manchester, and so the people there were very angry. But it's owned by InBev today, Anheuser-Busch InBev, but it's still brewed in Luton, England.
Gotcha.
And it's 4.8% alcohol. So it's an English bitter. Okay, and I will tell you that I like it.
Excellent. Now, my beer says, and I know this, that Bruce Dickinson, which is the lead singer of Iron Maiden, which is a licensed airline pilot. He flies his own Boeing 747 with the band, and they go around the world. He's also he's really big into fantasy and fencing. He does fencing and ballet, and he also somehow really loves beer. With all that being said, heavy metal and beer, go figure. So he teams up with the Robinson's Brewery out of England, and I'm a little confused. Maybe they had a contract with this particular beer. This one says on the back of the bottle that it is a product of England from the Frederick Robinson Limited at the Ucorn Brewery, Stockport, Cheshire, UK.
Yeah, they probably just subcontracted it.
Yep. And it's imported by Artisanal Imports, Inc. in Austin, Texas. So yes, this one is they call it a Belgian dark ale on Beer Advocate. There is little to no head, and if anybody doesn't know, this is the Chimay chalice, and it does have an etching on the bottom, so it has a little bit of that champagne cascade to it, but not a whole bunch. I'm definitely getting, and I can read the website in a little bit here, but I'm definitely getting all kinds. It's very subtle, the nose, but there's definitely like a red winey, kind of that grape that you get from a big red wine. There definitely is some darker fruits. Definitely light molasses I get. There is some light caramel and toffee. I mean, there definitely are cherries I'm getting too. It's not like it's overboard on a Robitussin thing, but it is very, very, very faint in the background on that. I'm not getting really, really, really extremely deep malts in this one, but everything is kind of balanced. But again, it's that red wine and like a dark cherry kind of a note that are the big two that are jumping out at me right at the immediate moment in time.
I want to apologize to Bruce Dickinson.
Why?
Because when they first came out with the Trooper beer, I said it was so dull and I didn't like it. And then I went and bought a 4-pack of cans just like this, but they're not nitro widget. But and I started because they had a really good price on them. So I started drinking on them and thinking on them. See, a lot of times people don't think on beer; they just drink it. And I started thinking on it, and I said, you know what? This really is a great beer. He was right. I was wrong. I'm played. But I always admit it. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it.
Sure.
So it is a very good beer.
Yeah, and they say on the website that it is 3 out of 5 sugar cubes and 2 out of 5 hop cones in the bitterness. So not much of really any of those aspects to speak of. They talk about using noble hops.
Yeah, on the Cyclops scale, yeah.
Belgian style yeast, so it gives you a subtle palate of subtle banana and sweet plum finish.
So basically, it's not going to hit you in the face. It's going to be a nice, smooth, drinkable brew. Then sounds like.
And again, it is 6%, so it's not the heaviest of the Belgian darker beers for sure.
It's heavy, but not too heavy.
It's like their music. It's heavy, but it's not too heavy.
Let me give you the look of mine.
Go ahead.
It's in my Samuel Smith glass.
That's the organic lager.
The organic lager, and you notice it's clear with a lot of carbonation, bubble stream coming up, nice white head. It's, I don't know, it doesn't look like it's going to stay all that long, but it's pretty, putting some lacing on the side, and it's, I guess you'd say it's clear golden color. Let me give it a nose.
Yes.
You get the nose is a little bit on the grain side. So I guess you're getting the grains that the beer is brewed with in the nose, but it's very clean smelling. And I guess you're smelling the hops too. Very nice, very clear, and good looking beer.
Excellent.
But Michael, I find that beer is kind of a little bit of a dirty beer, which appeals to me. It's kind of like garden,
Like musky.
like garden soil. It's like organic dirty, and it has a nice character. It's not clean like a regular lager, and that's what I like about the English beers. They're always kind of like a little dirty, you know.
Sure.
And this is earthier than the American lagers. It's earthier. There's an earthier feel to it. I agree with you, Jay.
That's the word I meant. That's the word.
Hello to Bart Robinson Live.
Eric, is anybody watching us on YouTube?
We got Bart Robinson and one other person. We have 2 viewers. So hello to you viewers. Feel free to chat.
No one's probably me. Because I had one window open for the chat and the YouTube page open for the chat.
Well, what I do is I go to my video when it's live. I pause that and I pop out the chat so I can look at it live during the video.
Oh, okay. That's an admin. I think it's the admin side though. You can do that. Here, I just can't do it. You know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give somebody admins one of these days. But anyways, I guess how is the offshoot beverage of early times that you're drinking?
I mean, be honest with you, it is what it is. I mean, I didn't just want to pay the money for Jack, and this was on sale. Like, you know what? I haven't had it in a while. Let me just go ahead and get it. You know,
Disappointing?
No, it's not disappointing at all. It's a good alternative. I've always said that. We don't want Jack Daniels or even I can't think the name of it now. But it's Jim Beam. I can't think the name of it. My fault. But it's
Evan Williams is another good alternative.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's just one of those ones where I mean, go ahead, Jay.
I think early times is a credible product. People like to dog it, but they're just mad because somebody's enjoying something they got for $8.99. You know.
Well, I've taken a couple of sips of the of this Robinson's Trooper, the Hollowed, which is again their Belgian dark ale. Cheers, everybody! Cheers.
Cheers.
They say that it is on that cyclone scale that Jay called it, which is what it's called. Cyclops. That's right. They say it's a 3 out of 5 on the sweet. And one of the things that I'm noticing right away about this beer is that it is. Let me confirm that. Yeah, I guess maybe 3 is right. I was drinking this initially and thought it was maybe 2. It's in general I guess I would call it semi-dry. It's for what it is in style. I think it's a pretty dry version of a Belgian dark ale. It just smells in the nose. I didn't really mention it that way. Yeah, but definitely compared to the taste, the nose smells like it's going to be way more sweet than it actually tastes. It's like a really dry. It doesn't quite have the bite or the alcohol note or even the sweetness of like a sweet vermouth, but it kind of has that vermouthy thing about it, which is kind of interesting. That red wine, almost like a mulled wine without all of its sweetness, if that even makes sense. Maybe it's more like Jay would sometimes say about it, almost having a turned fruit kind of a character, but it's not. It just reminds me of those things, but it's not quite as sweet as those things.
Can you taste the Belgian yeast in it, Eric?
Yeah. It definitely has, like with your beer, it definitely has some kind of a musty kind of a component about it. It's got a little bit of tartness to it. There's a tiny touch of a souring at the end that goes away almost immediately. And there definitely is some kind of like a mineral-y water composition that sometimes you can get from these darker Belgian style ales. I would definitely say like Lance was asking, like Lance was kind of alluding to here, Lance the Lush, it's definitely a smooth, definitely incredibly smooth. and incredibly easygoing. This has potential to go down without any issue or problems whatsoever. You could finish this and not even realize you just drank a beer.
Now, my follow-up question that would be, now, especially like getting that red wine taste, I've noticed, especially since there's cherries involved, I've noticed with me when I drink a wine that the back of your top teeth gets cold. Are you getting that same feeling?
Cold?
Yeah, I've noticed that with red wines with cherries in it. Maybe that's just me.
I don't even think that this beer actually, well, they're calling it a sweet plum finish. I don't even think they use, I don't believe that they're using actually any fruits in this beer, but I'm getting like it almost is a cherry in flavor. I'm not getting any of that aspect to it. If I think hard enough, I might believe you, but I don't think I'm getting that aspect to it. They're talking about a little subtle banana, and you can kind of get banana from the yeast. That's a thing. I wouldn't really have thought about that unless the website said it, but there definitely is subtle banana notes. This is a pretty thin beer for what it is. It's nicely carbonated, and I'm definitely getting a dry, yeasty kind of a quality from this beer for me. It's just light plum, light cherries. There is some of that banana in there. There is a little bit of molasses, sugar, and brown bread in there. Otherwise, it's just pretty light, easy drinking, non-offensive, not the greatest beer in the world, but certainly not the worst in the world. I think you can do better in the Belgian style, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this was one of those ones where, like, the moment you said plum, Merlot immediately popped in my head, because Merlot's made with plums.
Sure. That would.
And I thought, and you're saying it's really light, and Merlots are known to be naturally heavy because of that reason.
And by the way, we have watching us live, PA Brew News. We all know that guy. He says, "I am an English ale whore, to say the least." All right. Well, welcome, PA Brew News.
Lance, you're talking about Merlot. I've been drinking this Livingston Merlot. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody's starting to, somebody's phone's ringing a bit. Sorry, Lance, I've been drinking that Livingston Cellars Chianti. That's what it was, Chianti.
With fava beans?
No. But I'll tell you real quick about the Boddingtons. You've all had this one, you know. I got it for $7.99 a 4-pack, which to me was a good deal.
Bart Robinson says that he has some Boddingtons in the fridge that's a couple of years old, unfortunately, but he's enjoying a Ballantine Burton Ale at the moment.
Whoa, he's going top hi-hat tonight. I wouldn't drink a 2-year-old Boddington, to tell you the truth. It's not made to go and be aged, you know. It's a standard product. It's interesting. It's kind of strange. It has some peculiar flavors and aromas. It's nose, like sweet malt in the nose and sugar, and sweet bread, like almost like a pastry in a way.
PA Brew News says hi there, Chance the Plush. There you go.
That ain't Chance the Plush. That's
no, Paul's just being silly. That's all that is.
Yes,
that's Grandmaster Flash.
But yeah, continue, Jay.
The flavor. Well, Boddingtons. We get a different Boddingtons than what they get over there in merry old England. They get a very low alcohol, 3.8%. We get the 4.8. We get one that's closer to Budweiser's strength. And I don't know why we get a different product, but that is often the case. The flavor is very, well, look at that nice lacing.
Yeah. Nitro for you.
Yeah, but it wouldn't even, it has to be some kind of content in the beer to give it that heavy lacing, not just the nitro effect.
Sure.
But it's made with water, barley malt, hops, yeast, and cereal grains. And the cereal grains which is probably corn flakes, right? Flaked maize. It gives it a very, well, let's be honest, cereal taste. Think about breakfast cereal along the lines of Kix or King Vitamin, you know, the low sugar cereals.
Okay.
So on the sweetness scale, it's probably 3 out of 5 sugar cubes. On the bitterness scale,
3 maybe.
no, I would say about a 4 out of 5. It's quite bitter, but not in the IPA sense of extreme, you know, tongue twisting bitterness. You know what I mean? But it's bitter. It's bitter. You can pick up the bitters, and that's the thing about the English bitter style. A lot of people can't perceive it the correct way. Like they're used to drinking, say, like Samuel Adams Rebel or Rebel Rouser, and so they're thinking that type of bitterness, that extreme roller derby bitterness.
Yeah.
And then they drank an English bitter, and or like a Fuller's London Pride, there's a good example, and they'll say, oh, it's not that bitter, but they're too busy talking about it and not thinking about it. So,
PA Brew News says, I've got the original Old Flag Porter from Darwin Brewery from Durham, England. Anyone had this one? Still haven't cracked into it yet. And I have not ever heard of that one, to be completely honest.
I
I've
second
never-
that
Oh.
statement.
oh, I heard of Old Flag because it's in a book that my daughter gave me called 300 Beers to Try Before You Die.
Michael Jackson?
No, it wasn't written by him, but it's 300 Beers to Try Before You Die. It's a very well done book, and it's got a little checklist, and I keep checking the things off, you know.
Oh, wow.
And but to finish my talk, and I'm not gonna talk anymore.
Sure.
Although I would like to try what you're having tonight. I've already had the early times, and I've already had the organic lager from Samuel Smith's, which is a delight, I gotta say. Boddington's is good. If you're getting it for $7.99, a 4-pack at World Market, which translates to about $2 a can, it's not bad, you know. It's nice. Little kickback, do a hangout at night beer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. What are your thoughts on the organic lager as you sip on that beer?
I've been sipping on it.
Looks refreshing.
You can easily pick up the English hops, which are really nice. I assume they're English hops used in this, and it's very pleasant and
A noble variety.
comes across very pleasant, and I mean, it's very well balanced beer. I think most of the beers that Samuel Smith makes are in the sessionable 5% range too. They don't seem to make, you know, higher amped up beers, you know, higher alcohol beers. They're all session. At least the ones I've had. Maybe in their portfolio they have some that are higher alcohol. But
Right.
the ones that I've had have been 5%. But I think it's very good. Very drinkable.
That's a good topic. That's a good topic. People who don't like strong beers, they like, just make a mental note of that. Okay.
They also say on their website, strangely enough, the Samuel Smith Brewery.co.uk, as they say. It's strangely enough, they say all Samuel Smith's beers and ciders are suitable for a vegan diet, except cask conditioned Old Brewery Bitter and bottled Yorkshire Stingo. And there you go. So if you're a vegan, have at the Samuel Smith beer, I guess.
And I bought this beer in a 3-pack at Costco for $11 with the Samuel Smith's chocolate stout and their pear cider and a glass. So it was a deal.
Ooh,
Oh, man.
nice, sir. Would you buy that beer again?
Yes. But I've had this beer before. It's not the first time. I just like it.
Excellent. What would you, if you had to give that a Michael Kormaroff rating, what would you rate that?
I
If
would
you had
rate
to.
it a 92,
Wow.
which
And
I guess is an A-, I guess, on my scale.
That's within you, and you've derived that rating, within that style, correct?
Within that style.
Okay. Excellent. I'm trying to think about a rating on this here. A Hallowed by Robinson's Breweries, the Iron Maiden Bruce Dickinson Belgian Dark Ale. And Beer Advocate, not that I use that as the word of gospel, but just a nice reference. This has to be a pretty new beer. It says a lot code on it that I cannot really decipher on my own from when it was bottled, but it was only added to Beer Advocate on the 22nd of September. So it's a fairly new beer, and it's a 3.61 out of 5, which is a good rating out of just 29 ratings on Beer Advocate. And I think calling it just good is probably a really great way to sum up this beer. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's really the right terminology to use, but I think it's just within its style and kind of what it's giving me. It's just I would say it's kind of a borderline blah beer. I think it is good, and I think it's a well-crafted beer. I just don't think there's much to this beer. I don't think there's much to the mouthfeel, and I don't think there's really too much that you could really say about the beer. Now, I have noticed from time to time drinking some of these darker style Belgian beers, and I'm not sure if it's the yeast or if it's the water that gives me this taste. But Jay mentioned the word to Michael Komaroff's beer, and it's exactly what I'm it's one of the things that I'm getting out of this beer, which is musky. It's either giving me that musty cellar, like a wet cellar kind of a taste to it, if that makes sense, or it's like this mineral-y composition, or even better yet, if you've ever had a cut on your lip and you've got that blood on your tongue, it has that mineral-y kind of a composition to it, which can be kind of off-putting. But since it's such a thin-bodied beer and not much else is going on, it doesn't really constitute for me being a beer that I would return and seek out again.
Okay.
So what number? Eric, what number would you put on it?
I would say it's at least. I guess I would say it's at least an average beer in the grand scheme of things. So maybe that would give it, I don't know, 70 out of 100.
And that's what is that like a C minus?
Yeah. You know what? Maybe 75. I don't think it's quite C minus. I think it's better than that. I think it's just
a straight C.
Yeah, that's what I'm comfortable with on that.
You know what? They're like the Iron Maiden beers, like down here, I only see them in cans, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe it's a bottle can issue. You flip to a can, it might be better. You never know.
Perhaps. They say that I don't know if their website says how they sell this beer. They just say it's in 330 ml containers. They don't say if it's a bottle or a can, but their website seems to only show, and the store that I went to seemed to only have bottles. So I don't know if it.
I've only ever seen it in bottles.
Like here in Akron, we got them in cans. I saw it Friday morning.
Well,
I had to pick it up.
Well, yeah. There's a couple of different varieties of Iron Maiden Trooper beers. There's the Iron Maiden Trooper, which is their like an ESB, and then they have a Red and Blue, which is their English style porter, and then there's this one. So there's 3 different beers in the line of Trooper beers.
Okay, maybe that's what I saw it in.
I think that those other ones, now that you mentioned again, there's that Trooper ESB, and then there's the porter, the Red and Blue, which I think are by far better and more interesting beers than this style. But I think if you've never had a darker Belgian style beer, this could be a really easy one to get into and be really kind of like a non-offensive kind of a beer to try.
Red and black.
Correct.
And they have the 666.
Oh, right. That's the Imperial version of their Trooper ESB. Is that right?
Yeah.
That
Well-
was a much better beer. All those beers are better than this, is what I'm saying. They're much more interesting. They have much fuller and richer flavors than this one.
I like Robinson's beers. Don't they do the Old Tom with the cat on it? Old Tom cat?
Tom, that does sound familiar.
8%. That's 8%. That's a knockout beer. You drink 500 milliliters of that, you will write all kinds of stuff on the internet, and it's so you're so sorry. Hey, you want to hear something funny real fast? I was watching a Hangout this morning at like 4:30 in the morning, and the Drunken One and all them guys, they were on there saying all kinds of stuff. And I was watching that. I said, man, this is wild. And then after, as soon as they got off, one of the guys said, delete this, delete the video, delete the video. So I had to laugh. I said, oh, man, I wonder what they said in that 4-hour period that they had to delete the video.
That's called incriminating evidence. That sounds like.
Oh,
But
man.
that video was 4 hours at 4 in the morning. Oh, my audio's bad. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's starting to go.
Jay, your audio's going.
You're starting to get that live chat from the Death Star voice to you.
Lance, I have a question for you. When
Yes,
you
sir.
buy your beer, are you in Akron?
Yes, I am.
And how is the beer supply?
As far as the supply itself is actually, at least here in the metro area, it's actually really good depending on where I want to go to get it. Now, obviously, I'm close enough to Cleveland to where I can travel a half an hour and my selection is tripled.
Because Cleveland's a bigger city, so there are more places.
Correct. I mean, I can go to Cleveland and get a growler if I really wanted to and be back in an hour, you know?
Yeah. Is my audio okay now?
It is now.
Yes, it is.
Better.
I'm going to show you how to do that direct invite, and that will alleviate that problem, I'm telling you. Because if I was on Microsoft Explorer, it would not do that. Okay? But it's some kind of plugin issue because Firefox says that Google Plus has a plugin problem, and they're not even dealing with it anymore. I used to always go through Firefox, and it was like primo, but then that platform got corrupted. But anyway, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
So, can you hear me now? All right. You want me to give you my evaluation of this little item?
Sure. Go right ahead.
I was just saying about the Hangouts, they wanted to delete it. So I said, what did they say for 4 hours? I wish I could have heard that. I wish I could have like somehow downloaded it real fast before they deleted it so I could have heard it. You know, it's like they went on for 4 hours. And when I got on there at 4 in the morning, they were so blasted. I said, man, they are so
At 4 in the morning. Wow.
ripped. Oh,
What do you expect?
They were lit.
Like a
And
Christmas tree.
then, but the guy that got off, he had enough like wherewithal to say, delete it, delete it, delete it. You know, so he probably said, delete it. Then he passed out. but they,
Oh, he pulled a lance?
luckily-
Wow.
Oh, Lance has
But
never fell
luckily-
asleep during a video? No.
but luckily they did delete it, you know, because I noticed all of a sudden, like after 10 minutes, it said video deleted. I said, oh, they caught themselves because they were like talking about their jobs and stuff.
Whoa. No.
I was like, oh, man. I was like, this is like a treasure, but I would never save it and share it. You know what I mean? But anyway, all right, Boddington's. Okay.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Your final thoughts and opinions for today.
Well, let me say this to you. It's very similar to Abbott Ale. It's got a earthy sourdough bread taste, which you will get in whiskeys also. The sour mash whiskeys will have a sourdough bagel taste. But this is so much milder than a whiskey, by golly. It's a nice little item. It's hard to pin down. Boddington's is a beer that kind of mixes me up, gets me a little confused. But would I buy it again? Oh, heck yeah, I'd buy it again. I would recommend people try it. But I'm not a person that brags on Boddington's. But what score would I give it? Okay, let's see.
How would you do it in the Louisiana?
Oh, Jay's doing a quickie score?
Wow, creamy looking beer there.
I'm not giving it a score. I'm saying if I was going to give it a score,
Oh.
this is what I would score it. I am not giving it a score, but if I was to give it a score, I would say that it's probably Oh, it at the lowest, if you were just ripping it to be a jerk, you could say it's an 85, a B.
All right. All right. But you didn't
But I would
give a
have to
score.
say it's probably more like a 90 or 91, an A minus. It's a very well made product. It's at the lower end of excellent. I love it. I mean, for $7.99, I think I got a great deal, but maybe I'm too easy to please. But oh well. Look at this thing with that Early Times. What do you rate Early Times, Lance?
I did a review on this. Now doing a quickie score now, I could probably have to give it 4 chocoboos. It's good in the pen.
All right.
Out of 5.
Out of 5, correct. It's good in a pinch. I mean, is it great? Not really, but like I said, I mean, if you don't want the mainstream stuff, this is the way to go.
I agree.
And PA Brew News says 156 out of 100 world class.
I thought 100% is all you can get by definition.
God. Well, technically.
He has his own scale.
1 to drunk. Ouch. He also did say, if I said it, I know I don't remember, thus being on live on a video. All right. So we got to ask Lance, since Lance does not have a beer or a English beer, just sort of what his thoughts and or drinking history or memories of the English beers. Give us a little synopsis on your thoughts and the history of English beers.
Okay. As far as the English style beers, we're talking about the island only.
Just the country of England.
Yes, the United Kingdom.
No.
Me, it's a mixed bag. It really
No
is.
Scotland, no Wales, no Northern Ireland, just England.
Okay, so Guinness is out. So
that's Ireland, yeah. Uh-oh, he thought that Ireland was in England. Oh, no.
No, it was like, far as
Murphy's would count because Murphy's is now produced in England, even though it's so-called Irish style ale.
I based it off the home office, so I understand what you're saying. No, it's far as English beers themselves, it's always a mixed bag because I mean I can get my hands on them, obviously. I mean I can get Boddingtons. Like I said earlier, I was gonna do Old Speckled Hen because that's readily available here.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, I really don't see them. Now, us Yanks, we get the English style American beers here all the time. We've all seen it, but it's not the same.
Yeah. No.
So if I go to a big craft beer store, I always try to be on the lookout for it, even though I might not do a review on it per se.
Sure.
Just so I can say I had it. And it's one of those with English beers, especially not the real bitter ones, but like the Iron Maiden one, like you're saying there, Eric, is I want something that's bitter, that I know is bitter, that pairs well with a meal, but it's just so drinkable that I can drink a lot of it. Not necessarily get buzzed, but over a long period of time. It's more of a, for me, it's more of a talking brew. A conversation brew.
Get Fuller's ESB.
Yep. Yeah, PA Brew News says, not New England, Old England, Lance.
Oh, sorry.
He's got to be correct about that. So your thoughts aren't. So what are your thoughts in general? You don't perceive that English beers are necessarily the most flavorful and interesting sort of a place to get beers from. Is that right?
No. I mean, there's actually some beers over there that I do want to that I've looked at as far as research has got my interest. And I can't think of the names right offhand, but there's a lot of brews over there because the beer scene there is a different world than what is here. And this is any country. And it's more of a learning experience because, like I've always said, every brew has a story. I've always said that. I'm gonna stick to my guns on that. And there's something. And granted, there can be some pure stinkers out there. I understand that. There is everywhere. However, if it's good or it's drinkable or there's a story, you got my attention. I'm not saying all. It's not like English food where English food is terrible.
Oh, whoa. Calling you out, England. Lance Lush.
No. Let's be real. A lot of the English food is bad, but it's as far as the brew, I mean, it made up the difference. That's why I'm so interested in it.
Right.
I just don't have access to it.
The great thing the crazy thing about England and maybe Australia, but I think England does it a little better, where they have a style, not just the style in general. You know, it's not like it's the only style, but they got a style called an English mild, which can be much less than 4% alcohol by volume, but they're still what they're able to do, which is mind-boggling. And we just don't seem to do it right in this country, or we don't do it very proficiently, is to create these beers that have tons or at least have a good amount of flavor to them, but are really, really, really low in alcohol, because they'll just spend in England, people will spend all day in taverns and bars, or pubs, I should say, and watching football or rugby or cricket or whatever it is. And they'll just spend all day with friends and buddies. And if you're going to be there for several hours at a time, they realize you can't be drinking heavier, even 4% beers. So they created these smaller amounts of alcohol in the beer. And, they do pretty good. And our versions of those kind of beers are either to A, make it a light lager, or to B, just not have alcohol in your beer. So that's one thing I think that they got the rest of the world on, is really good low ABV beers.
Actually, let me add an addendum to that. When I was at one of the beer festivals last year, we were actually talking about English milds, and the best analogy I ever heard is like English mild is like making stone soup, the exact same way. I mean, you just got to add stuff and add stuff and add stuff. Even though in that context, it's not very alcoholic, but there's a lot of stuff that goes along with it that make it very enjoyable. And that's the best way I've ever heard described an English mild.
Do you have anybody else got a thought on English mild beer or English lower ABV beers?
I don't think I've ever tried one.
I have tried a very small handful of them. I think I would rather try ESBs and English India Pale Ales, to tell you the truth.
By the way, Tyler Mansell is watching live. He says, Jay, one more drop.
I can't get it to come out. It's like, I've never seen a beer that this beer defies gravity. Like look at this foam. It can defy gravity. I mean,
it will not quit.
And
that is not from the nitro. That's from the beer ingredients.
And PA Brew News says, which could be very well correct on his statement, that England created a session IPA before it was hip.
Which could be true.
Oh, and yeah, right. That's right. But my last thought about English beers is that I have a almost demented devotion to English beers. And if I became some kind of depressed alcoholic and I wanted to lay in bed covered with a sheet and drink all day, I could just drink Samuel Smith's beers all day.
Yeah, that would be good. Why not?
But I mean, I wouldn't do that. I'm not saying I would do it if I did it. I love the Coniston Bluebird and Coniston Bluebird 4X Bitter. I just love English beers. I don't know why I'm not in England. I should be living in England. It's too cold and damp over there. But
could you drink
on the food? I've never eaten English food. What?
Could you drink the Samuel Smith Organic Lager all day long, Michael Komarov?
I like it, but I think I would get tired of the style after a while, because it is good, but it doesn't pique my interest.
Right. How does that compare to to the Dab from Germany had last week, and how do you think that it also compares to the kind of lager beers that we have in the United States?
I like, and as Jay said before, I really like the earthy quality that you get both in the nose and the taste on the English beers. So I think it's different than what we had in the Dab last week in Germany and in your American lagers. I think it's different. So I do like this style. It's just that it's not like IPAs or stouts where you have more going on.
Sure.
I'm talking about in the taste profile. We have more descriptive things going on.
Right.
Oh, I mean, Samuel Smith has such a great lineup. You could drink their chocolate stout, their oatmeal stout. Can you hear me?
You're deteriorating slightly.
Be honest. Okay.
Okay, goodbye. All right. No, I didn't mean that. So yeah, you couldn't drink that every day, and I don't blame you for that. But I just think that that's a good place to go if you want some really more flavorful, lighter style beers. I mean, yeah, probably one of the more famous things to come out of England as far as beer is concerned, it's got to be Russian Imperial Stout. I mean, that's one of the most famous beer styles of all time.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right.
I'm surprised actually nobody decided to explore in a English version of an Imperial Stout.
Got to teach you how to do those direct invites. Oh,
Sure.
well, yeah. John Courage Russian Imperial Stout is like dynamite. That's the bee's knees, okay. But I was saying Samuel Smiths are so good. Now the organic lager, that's kind of like lower profile, kind of like maybe it's ordinary, you get bored with it. But man, they make, I was saying on my little mini rant, oatmeal stout, chocolate stout, that organic chocolate stout. They make all those flavored beers. Now, I saw that World Market had their cider. I'm not going in there. I don't like cider. I hate cider.
My wife likes it, Jay. My wife drinks it. My wife likes it.
My daughter likes cider.
I think it's good if it's done right, if it's not just run-of-the-mill like apple juice.
If I had to drink cider every day, I would not drink alcohol.
Wow.
Water, their Yorkshire Stingo. And now I see that they got a wheat beer. I want to try. So I love, and their fruit beers are good. The raspberry, the strawberry. They're awesome company, man. So
Jay, they're also a family-owned company. It's all in the family. People who run it. Because a couple of years ago, I met the grandson of, obviously he's not the grandson of the founder. It's an old company, but he's the grandson of somebody who ran the company. And he was in the United States pushing beer. And what they were saying is they have very good distribution. They would rather have a better product than push, that it's everywhere.
No, it's just dynamite. And when I was trying to decide on this beer for this hangout, which was originally scheduled for Wednesday, it got moved to Thursday, it got moved to Tuesday, but that's another story. I'm giving Eric a hard time. I was almost about to grab Samuel Smith's.
Chat fading fast for Jay and audio.
Eric, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
As far as next week goes, is there a possibility that we can do another IPA and your buddy Dave can come back?
Possibly.
Dave was the brainchild and wanted to bring something that he had specifically in mind, and then he got sick.
Yeah, he is with some family. He should be back next Wednesday. He's with family in New Jersey until the 2nd, which is next Tuesday, but he should be back next Wednesday.
But he was here. He was with you on that one we did together, and it was terrific.
Yeah, he kind of wanted to keep going with this until he got sick, but I will get back together with our good buddy Dave on that and see if he wants to join on.
What about your other buddy Nate? Would Nate be involved in any of these, or he's busy?
I'm sure he would. I could probably contact him and see if he wants to do any Wednesdays. He's always down. Yeah.
He was on one when you did the hard alcohol one with Jay.
Oh yeah, what the heck were we drinking? Some kind of
I
bourbon.
can't remember. It was something you got a good buy on a bottle and you were splitting it with him.
It was some kind of bourbon. I don't remember what that was. Both him and I were at his place and we drank that. That was good.
Called
Are you available on Wednesday nights typically, Lance?
Mm-mm.
No.
No, it's my work schedule. So I work 1 p.m. to 1:30 a.m.
Wow.
It's like my only real off day during the week is Fridays. I'm scheduled off.
Mm.
Hence me doing the chat on Friday nights. I got lucky tonight because the plant shut down. So for me, it's like I was all over this only because, I forgot. Only because I'm off.
Sure. Well, we'll come up with some more thoughts. I guess Michael is thinking about doing more IPA again next week, if that's what you want to do.
Eric, do you have other ideas?
I don't at the immediate moment in time, but everybody can collaborate on that and come up with some ideas. And Backwoods Billy Craft Beer Reviews. Hello, sir. He's watching. He's asking, how about Bengali IPA? You get that beer, right?
That's another one from 6 Point.
Yep. Tyler Mansell says, yeah, I kind of work like Lance, but not as late. Only Fridays off. There you go. So, yeah, I guess anybody that is watching the video, if they are interested in wanting to join these examinations, please feel free to let me know or let anybody know. And if you're a part of the Beer Talk 2017 on Facebook Messenger, let us know. And if anybody's got ideas here on the panel of different things to do or want to collaborate on some ideas, let us know, and we'll go from there. Anybody have any closing thoughts on English beer?
Honestly, I wish I just had more.
Yeah.
My closing thought would be it's an interesting style, and there's a lot of companies. It's just the product itself is not overall that interesting to me. I agree with Jay. Samuel Smith is a great brewer. I like most of the stuff they have. I like ESB as a specific type, bitters I do like in the English style, but I guess it wouldn't be my favorite brewing nation.
Sure. My
final thought, if you can hear me, is that I love English beers, and I was about to grab Samuel Smith's before I grabbed the Boddingtons, but I found a good deal on Boddingtons. So, but I can see how people might say English beers are dull. So they're kind of like real fine in their presentation. They're not, when you get used to drinking a lot of American craft beers, English beers can maybe be hard to deal with. So I can understand that viewpoint also.
I'm going to say, to round out our discussion, that I would recommend, even if I just give it a C average rating, and that's exactly where my mind is at this point in time. I think that in general, so again, this is the Iron Maiden, a limited edition Belgian style beer from Robinson's Brewery, the Trooper line of beers that they've done with Bruce Dickinson of Iron Maiden. You can watch a whole bunch of videos of him at the Robinson Brewery on YouTube and watching him talk with the brewers and collaborating on beer and tasting a lot of different beers and watching him mixing beers together and seeing what the flavors do. But for this hallowed English-made Belgian dark ale, I can't say I wouldn't recommend you ever try it. I don't think that it's going to blow you away or it's going to knock your socks off. But kind of as Lance was alluding to a little bit earlier, it's just a pretty mellow, easygoing beer. It's pretty inoffensive. You might find the yeasty mineral composition thing a little off-putting if you're not using these kind of beers. And I do think that England is similar enough to the United States. No, we don't have quite the brewing tradition in the United States that England does. But I think they're quite similar in the fact that there are so many different breweries in that country, and they have a wide range of everything from, as we're saying, quote, more dull, maybe dull is not the word, maybe just not the most flavorful of beers, pretty just easygoing beers, all the way to Russian imperial style stouts and English barley wines. And you can kind of just go the whole gamut, like in America, from really low ABVs to really high ABV beer. So the possibilities in finding a beer in England are practically endless, is what I'm saying. So it's a great place to go from really small to really big beer.
Correct.
Try it, you'll like it. Until next time, this has been Thomas Metal 75's Massachusetts Beer Reviews.
Eric, before you go off live, I have
Yes.
one more comment.
Go right ahead, sir.
Somebody before mentioned this.
Yes.
Valentine.
Now, this is the 2016 Valentine Burton. I don't think they brewed it this year.
That was Bart Robinson. Bart
I think
Robinson.
This is the last one they brewed. And
Really?
I bought a 6-pack of it, and it's interesting.
Huh. I have yet to try that, but you don't think you say they don't make that anymore.
Well, I assume they do it every couple of years. So in other words, this is something which is high in alcohol, so you can cellar it. So people buy it, keep it, and maybe they brew it every couple of years. It's 11.3 ABV.
That's high for a Valentine. Real high for a Valentine.
Yeah, they'll Valentine.
75 IBUs.
Wow.
Ask Jay. You've had this before, Jay? What did you think of it?
It was almost a world-class beer.
Almost.
It was awesome.
Interesting. I'll have to.
$12 a 6-pack. $12 a 6-pack. You're not going to find a better value. No way.
All right. Well, you heard it live. Find the Burton Ale when it comes back to an area near you? ? And again, thank you all for coming. This has been on behalf of, we have Michael Kormaroff, Jay Terrio, Louisiana Beer Reviews, Lance the Lush drinking middle age or whatever he's drinking. And and I have been Thomas Metal 75, Trooper Beer, Belgian metal beer, sure. And this has been Massachusetts Beer Reviews channel of YouTube. And as I say at the end of all my videos, I'm empty, but cheers.
Cheers.
And we will see you soon.
Till next
Alrighty.
time.
Till next time, we will let you all know the topic eventually for next week. Cheers.
That'll work.